This video will show you some advanced features of ExpoCise Views. The functions shown in this video are primarily accessed through the context menu of the view. You can open a context menu by right-clicking on any one of the column headers. The first function I would like to demonstrate is the ability to change a column's caption. You must understand that the default column captions are the names returned from the SQL view. Simply right-click on the column's heading that you would like to change, and this will display the context menu, and choose the Edit Caption option. Type the desired caption and press OK. Notice the original SQL column name is shown at the top of the window. Here we change the customer ID to customer code. Secondly, we will change cus name to customer name. You can reset the caption to the name returned by the SQL view by simply removing it. Now I would like to show you pinning. Pinning columns to the left or rightmost positions of the view will keep those columns stationary while scrolling horizontally. You can pin multiple columns by just pinning them in succession. You can also pin columns to the left and right edges at the same time. This will restrict horizontal scrolling to any unpinned columns in the center of the view only. Thirdly, I'll show you the ability to set the display format for numeric or date columns. Selecting the display format from the context menu will open a dialog window where you can type the desired format or select from an existing list. Here we will format the total sales and the total cost of sales with a number sign, comma, and 2 zeros to the right of the decimal point. We will also set the display format for the profit column, which is incidentally a calculated column, and therefore we will use the Edit Calculation function to set the display format within the displayed window. More on calculated columns next. Calculated columns are columns that you add to your view and can range in function from simple static values such as today's date to complex calculations based on values from other columns. The profit column in this view is a calculated column. Choosing the Edit Calculation feature from the context menu displays a calculated column window. Here we see the expression that is used to calculate the profit column. Now let's add a simple today's date and time column. We're also going to set the display format to show us the format of date and time that we want to see in this particular column. Here we see the column added with a simple caption of local date time now, displaying the today's date and local time. You can remove a calculated column by simply opening the Edit Calculation window and pressing the Delete button. Now we're going to add a new calculated column called Profit Percent. To start our expression will be sales divided by profit. The columns will always be added to the leftmost position. We'll drag the column to where we want it to appear. And we'll look at the data. We expect this to result in some errors in cases where the profit value is 0. We will utilize a function to overcome this error. The function we will use is the if function. This will first evaluate the profit. If it is not 0, it then will proceed with dividing sales by the profit. Otherwise, it will return 0. Now we have a profit percent column in our view. We also have the ability to filter on this column as well. Okay, let's do another more complex calculated column, this one with multiple nested functions. We will call this column Profit Share. My premise here is that if the profit percent is greater than 4, we will calculate a profit share amount of 12.5% per salesperson. In cases of one salesperson, the share will be 12.5%. In cases of two salespeople, the total profit share will be 25%. I will paste in the expression from a previously saved clipboard. Here we see the if statement evaluating profit to see if it's greater than 4.0%. If so, we then take profit times this evaluated amount based off of whether or not the salesperson is populated in the salesperson 1 column, as well as we're adding that to the evaluated amount for the salesperson 2 column. And so, as previously described, if we have 2 salespeople, the total profit share would total 25%. Whereas if we only have 1 salesperson, the total profit share would be 12.5%. If neither case is true, or if the profit is less than 4%, the resulting value will be 0. At this point, we're going to also set the display format to include a comma and 2 decimal places, 2 zeros to the right of the decimal. Okay, here we see our profit share column, and if we scroll down, we see when we have a profit percent of greater than 4%, we start to see the calculations for the profit share. Let's make this easier to look at by adding profit share into our filter. Now we see a fully populated list. Now let's look at summarization. Let's add summary fields for cost of sales, total sales, profit percent, and profit share. Profit percent, we will add a max summary. Profit share, we'll add a sum. With summaries in place, we can quickly determine the profit share for a particular salesperson by simply applying a filter. In this case, sales rep 1 equals JSK. That'll quickly give us the total profit share for the JSK salesperson. Lastly, I will show you grouping. Grouping allows you to break down the data into groups for better readability. Simply drag a column that you wish to group into the grouping window at the top of the view. You can do nested groups by simply dragging multiple columns into the group window. You can expand or collapse your groups for better organization and readability. Right-clicking in the grouping window allows you the option of full expand of all the groups or full collapse. If the group window is not visible, you can show the group box by selecting the function in the context menu.